Nikon Education Foundation presents 7 weeks free data analytic training. In these 7 weeks, you're going to learn Excel, MySQL, and Power BI. Also, you'll be getting a certificate of completion by the end of this course. Join us on this journey of becoming a certified data analyst.
Greetings, everyone. I welcome you to today's class, SQL class, structural query language. So far, so good. We've done Microsoft Excel, and then we've also done Power BI. So today we'll be looking at the last two, which is structural query language, SQL. So I believe you have your laptop on already and your notepad, because we are going to jot few things here today before the practical class. And also, I would like to say these few things before we commence the class. And this is what I'm going to say. Anything I say, ensure you write it down so that when you are going through when you are practicing, you'll be checking your notes alongside. And that's number one. And then the second thing is this. This class is going to be a practical class. Practical class. So it means that I'm going to write query, and then you will also write query. In other words, anything I do, you will also practice it. And this is how it's going to be. When I do a task, when I execute a task, I'm going to pause, and then I will tell you guys to do it, and I will time you. So depending on the task you will be executing, so it might be 3 minutes, 4, 5 minutes. I will be the one to set the time. Immediately I say stop, just stop. So it means that when you are doing the task, when you are carrying out the task, you will unmute yourself. And then after the task, after the 2, 3 minutes, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Then I'm going to ask. I will just be needing like 2 to 3 responses. Once I get them, then everybody will mute themselves again, and then we'll continue again. When I need your attention again, I will tell you to unmute yourself and do this task. That's that. And lastly, I know that the level of assimilation differs. I know that some, they are fast learner, and some is bit by bit. They will need to do it and do it and do it before they get hang of it. I understand. So it means that when you are instructed to do a task and I stop you, if you are here to do yours, there is no problem. You just stop and listen. After the training, you can just watch the video again and re-practice. Because I know that a lot of people, I know that there are people that will not be able to catch up when I say do this task. And I know that some people will be able to catch up. Yeah, it's very possible that 5 minutes of people already done with it. So if you're unable to catch up, don't be discouraged. After the training, you can just re-watch the video and practice again. You will only be doing yourself wrong when I say stop and I continue to execute query, and you are doing what we have already done already. You are still doing it and have moved to another thing. You will be lost. At the end of the day, you might not be able to get most of the class. So therefore, so I will advise you, just if you miss out, if you are unable to catch up, rewatch the video and do the needful. So that is it. Thank you very much. So before I share my screen, we are going to just do little theory. Little theory here. So everybody take your pen and let's write something. Structured query language is a domain-specific language used in programming. Again, structured query language, SQL, is a domain-specific language used in programming. Now, when you hear a domain-specific language and when you hear programming, just know that it's talking about coding. That is, SQL, in SQL, you will definitely run some coding. You will definitely run some coding. So that first definition that says is a domain-specific language used in programming. So it's not just a language. It's not just your language. It's not just my language. It's a specific language, a specific statement that when you execute the statement, your database will respond. So not just any kind of language. That's the first definition. And put and in front of programming and designed for managing data held in relational database management system. Again, and designed for managing data held in relational database management system, or for stream processing or for stream processing in relational data stream management system, or for stream processing in relational data stream management system. So now, from this definition, I will bring out relational database management system. So I will bring out that word, then I will explain. Now, when you hear relational database management system, what are we talking about? Now, you are actually talking about MySQL. You are talking about MySQL. When you hear relational database management system, then you are talking about MySQL. And when you are talking about relational database, then you are talking about predefined relationship. You are talking about predefined relationship, data that are related in a database. So it means that structured query language, which is SQL, it will relate with it will relate with a database, that is a relational database. It will relate with it and retrieve the information that is inside that database. That is SQL. So it means SQL will communicate to the database, that is my SQL, relational database, and it will retrieve the information inside that database, and then we write our query. So SQL, MySQL. So when you hear MySQL, you are talking about relational database management system. And when you're talking about SQL, SQL will now be a tool that we can use to communicate to our database in order to retrieve the information inside the database. So that is different between MySQL and SQL. Good. Now, let's look at what is SQL. What is SQL used for? So everybody write. What is SQL used for? Please write. Please write. Please write. SQL is used to communicate with database. SQL is used to communicate with database. According to ANSI, capital letter A, capital letter N, capital letter I, capital letter N, capital letter I, and capital letter I. ANSI, American National Standard Institute. It is a standard language for relational database management system. Remember, we already talked about relational database management, MySQL, so don't forget that. It is a standard language for relational database management system. SQL statements are used to perform tasks such as update data on database or retrieve data from database. Let me repeat myself. SQL statements are used to perform tasks such as update data on database or retrieve data from database. Good. Now, MySQL again. Let's go to MySQL again. MySQL is a relational, please write. MySQL is a relational database management system that uses structured query language, SQL. I'll repeat again. MySQL is a relational database management system that uses SQL. I'll continue now. It allows you to undo, store, modify, and delete and store data in an organized way. It allows you to undo, store, modify, delete, and store data in an organized way. Now, that's a little aspect of MySQL. Don't forget the definition of SQL. Now, let's look at what is a database, right? What is a database? A database is a base for data. A database is a base for data where you store your data, as much data you can inside the database. Again, a database is a base for data where you store your data, as much data you can inside the database. E.g., for example, school can have a database. Logistic company, they can have a database. So when you hear database, just know that is a base where you store your data, a base where you store your data, 100, 200, 300, where you store your data. Good. Now, let's look at this definition again about relational database. A relational database, please write. A relational database is a collection of information that or organizes data in predefined relationship. Please, I hope you are writing. If anybody asks me question during question and answer section, now please, what is MySQL? I won't answer you. Please, I won't answer you. That's why I'm taking my time to divide and to do short explanation. So please, if you ask me question around this, I won't be able to, I won't answer the question. That's why I'm saying, please write and jot, so that after the class, you'll be able to go back to your notes and relearn. Please. A relational database is a collection of information that or organizes data in predefined relationship where data is stored in one or more table, open brackets, or relations of columns and rows. Are you getting me? Or relations of columns and rows. If you remember Power BI, you know we looked at how we can establish a relationship between two tables. So bring that mind to SQL now. Related data. Now, good. Now leave a space and write a workbench. What is a workbench? Please write, because you are going to meet all these things. What is a workbench? A workbench is a tool that we can use to communicate to our database. A workbench is a tool that we can use to communicate to our database. That's the meaning of a workbench. Now, what is a schema? Please write. What is a schema? A schema is the organization or structure for a database. A schema is the organization or structure for a database. Good. Now, when you are seeing this stuff, when we are executing our tasks, when I say you remember schema, then that definition, yes, that definition that you give to us. You remember workbench, yes, 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 that definition you give to us. You remember this one, yes, yes, yes. That's why I say you should write. Good. What is a server? A server can be used to access your database. A server can be used to access your database. Good. So leave another space, right? We have three categories of data types. We have three categories of data types. Number one, we have text, write text, T-E-X-X, T-E-X-T. Then in front of text, put varchar, 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 V-A-R-C-H-R, varchar, comma, then put car, C-H-R, car, C-H-R, not C-A-R, C-H-A-R, C-H-A-R, car. Now, what is a varchar? The word var, the var there means variable, variable, variable. And the car, char, means character, character. Now, in summary, is a specification of number of character, specification of number of character. That's that. Number two, number. In other three categories, I said we have text. Then number two, number. Now, when you say number, in front of number, put integer. When you say integers, I think you know the meaning of integers now, figures. And then when you put a comma, then put float. That's SQL term. Float. F-L-O-A-T. F-L-O-A-T. Float. And when you say float, you are talking about decimal. Decimal number. Number with decimal. In SQL, number with decimal. And then put your comma again. Big integer. Big integer. When you say big integer, then you are talking about like large figures. Large figures. Large figures. Like 1 million, 8 million, etc. And then under that categories, the third one is date. Date. So in front of date, put date time. Date time. Date time. I think you know the meaning of date time. Combination of date and time. Comma, date. Just ordinary date. Comma, then time. 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 Okay. That's that. So the next thing we are going to talk about is we are going to move into the interface of SQL. We will move into the interface of SQL. So let me now share my screen. Thank you for the audience. Let me now share my screen. So just hold on, please. Let me allow you to boot. Okay, now I will just talk about few things here, then we move on. Now, file. You should understand, you should know the meaning of file in Excel. File. This one is edit. This one is view. View. You know the meaning of view. If you want to view something. And then here, query. Query. This is query. Now, let me give you the definition of query. Now, when you hear the word query, what is a query? Now, query simply means you are passing instruction into the database to retrieve information inside that database. That is the definition of query. I will repeat again. You are passing instructions into the database in order to retrieve information from your database. That's the meaning of query. So when I say you want to write a query, then you should understand what I'm talking about. We want to pass instruction into the database and retrieve information using different SQL statements, words. Now, we have a database. I think you know the meaning of database now. So there is no need to talk around this again. We have a server. We have a server. Remember, I gave you the definition of server. You can quickly go and look at server. And we have tools, scripting. You can just leave this one. Now, here, if you look at this here on the interface, it says create a new SQL tab for executing queries. This one is when we want to create a new tab to write our query. And then open a SQL script file in a new query tab. You can just leave this. When you install your SQL, you can play around them. Do you get? Now, this one too, you can leave it. You can just, when you are practicing, you can learn about them when you're home. Now, this one is for creating a database. Create a new schema in the connected server. So remember schema, it organizes our data. Are you getting it now? So here is for creating a new database. So when you create a new database, you will definitely see your database here under these schemas. It will help you to organize your data, structure it and organize them. That's the work of schema. So that means if I create a new database, when I refresh my schema will bring it out and just arrange them accordingly to organize them, to organize my database. And then look at this one. Create a new view in active schema in the connected server. You can also leave this one as well. So all these interface, these ones, you can just play around them, just playing around them, playing around them, playing around them, playing around them. So now, because there's, let me just playing around them. I want to say something, but I think I should not say it. Just playing around them. Now, if you look at here is for saving. When you are done with your query, and then you can save. These two buttons, they are for execution of your query. Do you get this one? Execution, this one also execution, but this particular one is also for execution. But when you have a query, you can make use of it and know how it works. Just know how it works and know the differences between this and this. Now, these two button or icon, if I'm correct, I don't normally make use of them when I'm writing query or when I'm executing query or executing tasks. I don't make use of them. I prefer making use of Control plus Enter. I so love it. So I'm used to Control plus Enter. So I'm not really used to this particular, but I know that they are for execution, but I don't use them. So if you want to be using them, you can, when you have a query, you can just hit it and see what it's going to give you. But they are for execution. This one is for searching. The one search is for searching this particular stuff. Or execute and explain command or statements under, sorry, I take back my word, not for searching, not for searching. So this one as well, you can also play around it as well and know the meaning, the function. So all these ones don't limit, this one don't limit, this one like limit 10 rows. This one is if you have a data like 205,000 rows, you can use this button to limit your data. You can use this button to limit your data. So this one, you can just like this one, start just playing around them, just playing around them, playing around them. Now, if you come down here, this one, if you hit it, you will see what's going to happen to your interface. Can you see? You're unable to see your schema any longer. So that means if you don't want if you don't want your schema to be visible, then you can hit this thing. But if you want to be seeing your schema, then hit it again. It will come out again. And then this one, if I hit this one, see what's going to happen to the interface. It will hide our output here. It will hide it. But if I click it, it will bring it back. Action output. And then this one, if you hit this one, it will bring automatic context help is disabled. Use the toolbar manually to get help for the current carrier position to toggle or to toggle automatic help. Just leave this. Now, so here, this is our database. And here, this is our schemas. Remember the definition of schemas. So lastly, let's quickly talk about this aspect, action output. Now, when you talk about action output simply means when you write your query here, or when you execute your query here, you will see what you are doing here. You see what you are doing here. In other words, what you are doing here, you will see it here. So if you are correct here, you will see green button here. It will mark it that you are doing it well. You are correct with your execution. If you miss something here, maybe you ought to put a dot, you ought to put a comma, bracket, you miss it. Your action output, it will show you, you will see a red button and X. That is wrong. It means that you are made a mistake here. So, and what will it do? What your action output will do simply means, what your action output will do is that it will correct you. It will guide you. It will correct you that, oh, you made a mistake here. It will tell you that check this particular row, check this particular stuff. There is something you ought to put that you did not put. Maybe you did not, maybe you are here to make your database active. When your database is active, it will show up, it will show here, and you will see the name of your database here to be green. It means it is active. At times you might be writing query and your database is not yet active, and you execute, you will see red. It will tell you that you should double tap your database to make it active so that you can see the query you are executing. So this is how it works. So it means that you will not just be casual about this, that it doesn't matter. It matters. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to create a database. Remember the definition of database. Don't ask me after the class that what is the meaning of database, sir. Please, I want to answer you. We are now creating we want to create a database. And you know the meaning of from the word database. Database. Good. Now, I want to create a database. And this is what we are going to do. The first thing to do in creating a database is this. I'm going to write out something now. Iterate. I'm going to use my name, Olawale. I'm going to put my semicolon. So when you want to, whenever you are executing a query, you will always end it with semicolon. If you don't end it with semicolon, you will not see any execution. So now I want to create a database now. So I use my name, create database, Olawale. Now I will hit Control and Enter. Can you see now? I've already created a database, and it will even give you the time that I executed this query 5 minutes, 6 minutes, after 6, after 5, 21 seconds. So this is this is my database. Now I will continue. I'm still creating. I've already created a database, but I will still continue. Now I will use Olawale. Then I will hit Control plus Enter. Can you see? Now create database Olawale and use Olawale. That is the first thing to do when you want to create database. I intentionally used my name. So now, those that already installed their SQL, you have just 5 minutes. Please unmute yourself. 5 minutes. Let me just give you 5 minutes. It's counting already. Unmute yourself and create a database. Use my name. Just do what the exact thing I did. Do the same thing. Don't use your name. Just use my own. Create database. Olawale. Use Olawale. So you have 5 minutes now. Start. Please, those that are executing it, unmute yourself. Please, unmute yourself. You have 5 minutes. Five minutes. You have 3 minutes more. 3 minutes more. 2 minutes more. It's very simple. Just follow what I did, then you will get it. You have 1 minute more, please. 1 minute. All right. Please stop. Are you done? Were you able to do it? I need your responses. Hello.
So, sir, I was able to do the first one. The second one is showing here. It says name already exists. Choose a different database name.
Then how is it possible that the name already exists? Is this someone? Okay, use another name, no problem. Just for the second one, use another name. I permit you. I permit you, please. 1 minute. Are you done? All right, time is up. Are you done? Hello?
Yeah, I'm done.
Hello? Are you ready? Are you done?
Yes, sir,
Yes.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please just mute yourself back. Thank you. Now, the next thing I want to do is that I've already created the database. Let's check the database. Remember, I told you that this schema will be the one to organize our data. Then we can see what we have just done. That we just double tap it. Have you seen now? Olawale, this is my new database. So those that did it, also double tap, refresh your schema so that you can get something like this. Please do it. You don't need to unmute yourself, just do it, then I will continue. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to create a table. Now, when I mean creating table, this is what I'm saying. You know, inside the database, you want to input data there. You know, you cannot interact with a data, you cannot interact with a database that doesn't have any information. It's not possible. Empty database. What do you want to bring out from it? What do you want to retrieve? What do you want to update? What do you want to delete? So I want to create a table. I want to create it. That is, I already have my database already. Now the data itself, I want to create my data itself. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create an employee table. So inside this employee table, we are going to input people's information there. Don't forget, we are doing it, we are putting it inside our database. Remember what we are doing. We already created the database. Then we want to put information, input information into our database. Now, if you look at this stuff in the Microsoft Excel, now, if you look at here, you will see ID, name, country. I formatted this table. Don't forget, I said when you see this particular filter, it means this one is a manual table. That is manual table in the sense that I use grid line to bring out, to make this data to become a table. I use grid line. Remember read? I got it from here. So this is a table, this is another table. Now, if you look at row 1, we have header 1, header 2, header 3, and header 4. And now, if you look at row 2, you will see row 1, this guy's name, country Nigeria, salary 5,000. Row 2, row 3, row 4. Now, I did this thing by typing. I put my header 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I put number 1. I wrote my name, country, then salary. Number 2, Jacob James, name. I wrote it. I wrote it. I typed it, sorry. I typed it myself. Now, have you seen a table here? This is a table. Now, let's now come back to SQL. Now, the table I showed you the other time. Now, I want to make that kind of table. Are you getting me now? Now, I want to make that kind of table, and it's going to be through SQL. In other words, I want a table and I want to use SQL. I want to use SQL for that table. So if I'm going to use SQL for that table, it means I'm not going to do it the same way I did the one of Microsoft Excel. This is SQL. Here, I am going to code. That means I'm going to use code to make a table. I'm going to use code to make a table and then input information into the table. Instead of the route of Excel that we are inputting, I'm typing it, typing and then enter, type, enter. This time, this one is SQL. So if I want to build a table from the scratch, then I'm going to use code to bring it out, to build that table, or to build that table, or to make that table. Now, the first I'm going to do is that I'm going to say create table employee. That will be the name of my table. Then enter. Shift, I'll put my brackets. Now, enter. Now, if you look at the first table, the one of Microsoft Excel, we have ID. So now the first thing I'm going to do here is that I'm going to put my ID. The ID will be the header. ID is always index. The one that will contain row 1, row 2 is even given, but I don't want to use index. I want to use just ID. ID. I'm going to use my ID. Then I'm going to write my character. My ID is going to go for my primary key. I'm going to use my ID for my primary key, and I'm going to use integer. So I'm going to shorten it int. It will bring it out int. And then the next I'm going to put my primary key. So it means that this table, this particular ID is my primary key. In other words, when you say primary key, you are talking about a unique something, or something that belongs to a particular person. For example, if my ID is number 1, then if my ID is number 1, then the second person ID cannot be number 1. So my ID will be my primary key, my unique. It is for me alone. So for the second person, it will be for that person alone. That means we can have the same name. My name is Olufemi Michael Olawale. Another person also can bear Olufemi Michael Olawale. Yes, very possible. Olufemi Michael Olawale. But inside the database, what we differentiate myself and that person, even though we are bearing the same name, will be the primary key, the ID. So that person cannot have an ID. In fact, SQL will not even allow you to have 2 ID at the same time. No, one ID for one person, one ID for one person, one ID for one person. So I'm already coding my ID now. So by the time we start populating the table, this person ID for this person, even so the same name, different ID. The same name, different ID. So I will hit enter, and then the next I want to put his name. Remember, I'm still typing my column name, and then under my name, I'm coding now. I want VACA, VAR, and then VACA, variable character. And I'm going to set 30. My brackets, and I'll put my comma again. Now, remember data validation. So Bring the knowledge of data validation here. Remember, in data validation, we are setting number, minimum, and then maximum. And then after setting the number, if that person puts anything outside that number, it will reject it. Remember data validation. Now bring that mind there as well. So but in SQL you will say coding. I'm coding my table head, I'm coding it so that any information that we enter, it will not just be on just any kind of information. Since I've coded it, then it will only accept what I have done, just like data validation. Good. Now name voucher. I put 30 character. 30. That person can only put 30. Minimum. Here there is nothing like minimum. You can write 5 minimum, but it will not be above 30 because I've set it already. Now the next thing I want to put here is country. I'm putting country now, and then I'm going to use my voucher again. I'm going to give this one 11. Close my brackets and then put my comma. Enter. The next thing is that I'm going to put state. I'm going to use voucher. To use my voucher variable character voucher, and then I'm going to set 24 here. Put my comma. And the next thing I want to do is the salary. I'll put the salary. And then salary will go for, the salary will be figure. That will be integer. I'll put my int. I'll put my comma, come down, and then the age. And then it can also go for integer. Good. And then I'm going to hit my enter, close my bracket, and then put my semicolon to execute this task. So now, this is what is called coding. So I already, don't forget, I'm making a table. I'm building a table from the scratch. Well, I don't want to say draw. I don't want to use draw. Let me just use build a table from the scratch. So here is my table now. Now the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to execute my table. I'm going to execute my table. Now, if you look at this, my database, you will see something like table here. So it means that a database cannot be empty. It must have a table. And it can be more than one table. It might be 2, it might be 3, it might be 50. That's why you see tables. So now I'm going to hit my enter. Control enter. Now, if you look at my action output, you will see green. It means I'm doing it well. Now, let me try to refresh my schema. Now, if I refresh my schema here, can you see this is my table? Employee. My table is here already. Can we see the table? Yes. We can view the table using this sign, but we can also use another method to view the table. So we are going to use that method. So I'll come down here. I will just say enter. I will just say DESC employee. DESC employee. That is my table. DESC employee. And then I'm going to put my semicolon. So inside my semicolon, I will just say control and enter. Can you see? So here is my table. In Microsoft Excel, remember how we did it in Microsoft Excel? We are just typing, inputting the header, header 1, header 2, header 3, typing. But here we are coding. So after doing my coding, my ID, integer, name, country, state, salary, and int. Now, this is a table, right? But not yet well arranged. Because if you look at here, you will see that the header, they are not here. They are up here. Remember, and we are yet to see any content inside the table. We are moving. So let's go back to Microsoft, SQL, and continue our code. Now, this is my table. So those that have installed the that have installed my SQL, please, I want you to do what I have just done now. I give you 5 minutes, please. 5 minutes. Quickly do it now. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Create table employee, open your bracket and follow the route. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting. You have 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Five minutes. I'm waiting. 4 minutes more. 4 minutes more. Three minutes more. Two minutes. God, I'm checking time. 2 minutes more. One minute more. Minutes more. One minute more. Are you done? 1 minute more. 1 minute more. All right, stop. Stop. Please stop. So were you able to carry it out? Were you able to do this? Did you get it? I need your response. Did you get it? Hello? 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 Were you able to get it? Those that are doing it, please, I need your response.
Yes, sir. Please, sir, I don't understand this sending employee. This one that you wrote, the ESC.
DESC means that you want to check, you want this table to be visible, what you just done. You want it to be visible. You want it to be like my own. You want it to show. You just want to see what is in there. That's the meaning.
Okay.
So, but did you get it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So now, the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to populate the table. Now, this is the next thing I'm going to do now. So we are going to, the same way, just like this. Just like this. We want to do it also here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to say insert into employee. So if possible, you can also be doing it as I'm doing it, if possible. That is, if possible, you can also be doing it as I'm doing it, if possible. Insert into employee, then you open the brackets. The first I'm going to put is this particular ID. And I'm going to put the ID, comma, the name, comma, the country, comma, the state, comma, salary, comma, and the age. And then the next I'm going to do is that I'm going to close my bracket, hit my enter, and then put values. So my values will be the name, that is the details of this person. So the first person will be the number 1. So you put your quotation 1, comma, name. I will use my name. Please use my name. Don't forget to put your quotation as you are doing it. Quotation, then Olawale. Put another quotation, comma, country will be Nigeria. I hope you're also doing it. Please do it as well. Nigeria, that will be the country. Quotation again, comma, and then the state, or your state, or your state. Salary, for salary, I'll put 5,000. Close the bracket, comma, then age, I'll put 25. I'll close my brackets. Hello, are you also doing it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Good.
sir.
Then I'll put my semicolon. So that's how to, don't forget I want to populate this particular table. We want to organize this table the way we are seeing it in Microsoft Excel. So now, insert into employee, that is, the table I created, this particular table now, is still empty. Now, inside this table now, I want to input information of my employee there. So the first thing is the header, name, country, state, salary, and age. Then values. Values will mean the information of each employee. Don't forget, this particular primary key is unique. Is for Olufemi Olawale, not for another person. So Now I'm done with my table. The next I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control plus Enter. Can you see? Now I've already inputted this information into my table. Remember, we are coding. I've already inputted this information inside my table. Now, how can I check to see? Good. Remember when I did the other one, when I executed this, I used Control plus Enter. I got my table. Now, I have already populated that table. Now, I want to check the information. I want to check what I have done. So what I will just do is that I already input Control plus Enter. If I try to put Control plus Enter again, something is going to happen. Something is going to happen. I'm going to get error here because SQL will think that because SQL is expecting that since it's a table, the table can be 2, 3, 4. Now if I hit Enter again, I will see red because it will be thinking that because it's expecting me to continue using another primary key, which is number 2 for the second person. But if I hit Enter, it will not allow me because of the configuration, what we have configured here, that this one is just for one person now. How will the second person also be bearing your primary key, which is 1? We know it's not possible. So we will not see the execution. So I wouldn't want to say Enter. I will just come down here to check what I have done. I will just say it's here. This, if you want, the other time I said you can check here, and the second part, you can also use this route to check. Can you see? This is my table. I have inputted my information into this table. Now, we want to populate this table. At least I need like 10 data. That means we want 10 rows. We want 10 rows on this table. 10 rows. 10 rows. So that means we want to put 10 information into this table. So what do? I will come back here again, and then I will continue writing my query. So this time I'm just going to carry my insert into employee. Control C. Instead of me to write again because of time, I will just paste it and then come down. I will carry my value as well. This value, Control C, and then I will paste it here. And then I will just, that lady that is doing it, are you following me? Are you also doing it? Or you've lost? Hello? Please, I need response. I need response. Are you also doing it or you are already lost?
Mr. Olawale, we are lost.
Yes,
So.
yes.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Okay, if you are lost, just leave it. Just keep watching. The person that is not yet lost, continue with me. So, number one, I just clear it, put the primary key for the second person. Then I will change the name. So here we are going to anything I use, just use it. Here I'm going to use Abib. I will use Abib 31. 31. Am I even correct? Okay. Nigeria. Yeah, the states, you can just use Lagos. Just use Lagos State. And then for the salary, you can just add 15,000. The age, you can just put 26. Good. Enter. Now, I don't want to check it because we are checking time, and because of time, I won't check it. Let's just continue. So if you are with me, if you are executing this query, just continue with me. So what you copy, paste it again. Control V. Oh, sorry. So what I just want going to do is what you do is just recopy this thing again, Control C, and then come down here, paste, Control V. That will be number 3. Now change the name to George. Change the name to George. George Emmanuel. And then Nigeria, you can just change the country to Ghana. And then, I don't know any state in Ghana. Oh.
Accra.
Okay.
Accra, Ghana.
Accra. Oh, thank you, Accra. Okay, it should be A, double C. Okay, yes. And then the salary here, change it to 25,000. Then the age, you can change it to 28. Good. Enter. Control V, paste again. Let me continue to paste because of time. Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. So we're done with this one. So this person will be number 4. So I will change this guy to Michael King. And then Nigeria. Let's leave Lagos State. Let's change the salary of this guy to 45,000. And then age, let's put 30. Now I will come down here, the second value 5. I will change this name to Edu Olufemi. And then I will leave this one, I'll put Oshogbo here. And then salary, I'll put 50,000. And here I'll put 29. So I'm moving. So I'll come down here again. Clean 6. And then I will name this one Ebenezer Martins. And then I'll leave Nigeria. Lagos State is okay because of time. This guy, I will give him 150K. And then his age will be 30. Don't forget what we are doing. We are populating the table. And then I'll come down here. This person will be number 7. I'm going to give this one to be fair. And then here I'm going to pick Benin. And then here, please, any state in Benin, anyone going to give this guy any state in Benin. No, I'm referring to country of Benin Republic, not Benin, Nigeria. Benin Republic. Benin Republic. Abidjan, right? Okay.
Yes.
Abidjan.
Yes.
Abi. Am I correct with the spelling? No, Abidjan. Is it correct?
He's correct.
Okay, Abidjan. Then the salary, we give him 55,000. And then the age, we give him 35. So this person will be number 8. I will give this one Finidi. Finidi Taiwo, Nigeria. We give this one Ondo State. Ondo State. And then we are going to give this guy 155,000. Let's give him 40, his age 45. And then this will be our number 9. Oh, time. See how we 9. Let me give this one Demola Akumi. And then Nigeria, Lagos State. Let's give this person salary. Let's give him 60,000 naira. And then let's give him his age. Let's put 28. Oh, time. Then the last one. Do I still have the one I paste? No. Control V. I said 10. Number 10. That's primary, the ID. Number 10. I will give this guy Nike Kemi. I'm going to give Nike Kemi. And then Nigeria, let's leave Lagos State. Let's give her 35,000 naira salary, and let's make the age 39. So now I'm done with my table. That lady, are you also done? Hello? Or you are lost already? Hello? I need. Are you also done, or you are lost, so that I can continue?
Yeah, still on it. I'm still on it.
Eh?
I'm still on it.
You are still on it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, maybe you can just, maybe we should leave it because of time, because I want to move on now. Now, I executed the first person. Now, the second person, which is this guy, number 2, I will just come down here, then Control plus Enter. Is already there. Then the third person, Control plus Enter. There. The fourth, because of time, let me be fast. Control plus Enter. The fifth, Control plus Enter. The sixth, Control plus Enter. The seventh, Control plus Enter. The what's happening here? Insert employee in Republic Abidjan. Data too long for column country. Oh, just leave it to rep. I hope you saw what happened there. Data too long for column country. You know, I told you that your action output will always guide you. So it's telling us that Benin Republic is too long. So he corrected me here that what you are doing is too long. Now, let's say that I decided not to look at this particular action output. I will just be hitting enter. I will be saying red. Instead of me to just look at it, see the instruction as it's guiding me, and then do the correction in 1 second. Now, I noticed that it said it's too long. Now, I corrected it. He allowed me to go. So, the number 8, Control plus Enter. And then, the number 9, Control plus Enter. And then, the number 10, Control plus Enter. Now, we have successfully inputted 10 names inside our database. Now, how do we see or how do we check a table to see what I have just done? Then I will just come down to my employee. I will click here and check. Can you see? This is my table. Oh, you see that? So this is my table. This is my database. This is my table and this is my database. Now, the next thing I
Done,
want
sir.
to do is that I want us to, now that we have a table now inside our database, the next thing we want to do is that we want to, the next thing we are doing is this. We want to update our database. Let's say you are told to update that database. How do we go about that? So I will come down to my query again. Then I'll come down here. Now, this is the name of my database, then table. Let me just copy this one because we'll be needing it. I will come down here, put my Control V, and then enter. If you click here, you will see the table. And then this is what I want to do. I want to update my table. So how will I do that? I will just say update. Can you see? Update employee. Don't forget the name of my table is employee. Update employee. Then another statement, set. Set what? Let's say I want to update this particular column. This Olufemi Olawale. I want to update this name. I don't want this name again. So I want to put another name. I'll just say set name. Put the name equals to the new name. So I'm going to put set name, then equals to, and then I'm going to put my quotation. I will put Ezekiel James. Put another quotation here. Set name is equal to it. Don't forget, I want to update it. I want to change this particular name. I don't want it again, so I want to update. So I will say update employee, that table. Set the name, the column, name, that is this column, equals to Ezekiel James, the new name I want to put. Enter. Then I will put where ID equals to 1. Where ID equals to 1. Can you see? Update employee, set name is equal to Ezekiel James, where ID equals to 1. That is this particular row. So I will put my semicolon and then control and enter. Have you seen? I've changed the name. How do I see what I have done? I will just come down here again and I will check. Can you see? Olufemi has changed to Ezekiel James. Ezekiel James. Ezekiel James. So let's say that I want to do 2 columns for this particular row. Let's say I want to change the country and I also want to change the state. How do I go about it? Well, I will come down here again. I come down to my query, enter. So I will just say, I will copy and then Control V. Update employee, set this is what I want to do. Set country, then the state. Set country, set country, put your quotation, set country is equal to Cameroon, set country is equal to Cameroon, then other one, set country is equal to Cameroon, and the age, age equals to 50. Where ID equals to 2. I'm coming home. Let me just execute it and see what is wrong. Okay, country is equal to Cameroon. Okay. So let me re-execute it again and come down to my stuff. Update employee, set country is equal to Cameroon, and then age is equal to 49. Then hit my enter. Where ID is equal to, which one should we change? Let's say where ID is equal to 10. That is this person. Where ID is equal to 10. So now look at it. I want to update this particular row.
So what about the states?
I'm not doing state. I said I want to update the country and the age. Country and age. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing state. Okay. So now I want to update this particular row. I want to change the country to Cameroon, and I want to change the country to Cameroon, and I want to change the age to 49. I'm not changing the state, neither the salary. That's what I want to execute. So country is equal to Cameroon and age equals to 49. The number 10 ID. Control plus enter. So I've already executed it, and this is the pass mark. So let me check my table and see. Can you see Cameroon and age 49? So that's how to update your table. So if you want to go for the state, you will do the same thing. Update employee, set state, the column equals to the name of the state you want to put, whether Akwa Ibom. When you are done, you don't need to put comma because you don't want to update the age. Where ID, the ID of the person you want to update, you put the ID, the primary key that belongs to that person. You put it here, then you execute. So we can say here that what we have just done here, we can just write something just as a guide. We can write something like this. Put a star here and write this query was done to execute a particular this query was done to what do I put? Oh, I'm coming. Or we can say this table. We'll continue with that. This query was done to execute an update. It was done to execute an update. This is my style. This query was done to execute an update. Now, this is just to guide you so that you can know what we have done. Under here again, 41, let's write another query here. Let's see how we can delete. How we can delete. Now, let's say that this same person, this same number 10, we don't want this person again. We want to delete it from our database. We want to delete this person from our database. How do we go about it? So I will come down here, then I will write delete employee, delete from employee, employee, where ID equals to 10. So I want to delete this row 10, this person information from my database. So how do I go about that? I've written my query already. So delete from employee, that is my table. My table. And then I will just hit Control plus Enter. So if you come down here again and check, you will see that the row is no longer there again. Can you see? We have 9 rows now. We have 9 rows now. So I successfully deleted that person information from my table. Now, if you look at this particular query, if you look at here, this our update. You know, I said where ID equals to 1. You can also say update employee. I'm not talking about delete this time. Now, here, when I say update employee, set name equals to Ezekiel James, where height is equal to 1. Now, you can even say where, instead of using ID, you can also say where country equals to Nigeria. If you don't want to use ID, then you can also use that column and the content inside that column. Where country equals to, it will still, you will still get it. You will still get it. You will still get it. So, or maybe you are not deleting name, maybe it's country. You can even say where name equals to Tejolufemi. The SQL will know that you are referring to this column. Referring to this column. I think for the country, we might want to see an error because we have Nigeria here. We also have Nigeria here. So I think, let's say we have just only one unique Nigeria, then we know that you are talking about this particular row. But here we have more than one Nigeria. So I think we might not use country. We might use probably the ID or the state or the age. So now let's go back to our query. We've written 42 queries. Now we've seen how we can delete. You just say delete from your table where ID equals to 10, or where name equals to Tejolufemi, or where state equals to Oshogbo, or where column then content, column content, column content, column content, column content. So now let's look at another thing here. We can also look at how we can add a new column to our table. How we can add a new column to our table. Now, if you look at Microsoft Excel, you will see that if you want to update here, you will just delete and then write the name. That is, I'm just trying to tell you that there is difference between Microsoft Excel and SQL. For example, now we want to add another column to our table in SQL. Let's say we want to add bonus column into our table. I will just come down here and type bonus, enter, and then put 500, 200, 100, and then 40. This in Microsoft Excel. We can just do it this way. Now, but this is SQL. I want to add a new column. So now, let me just put a space here. So it will be for our heading, something like this. We are going to also put it here. So that's why I'm putting the space, so that you will not be convinced that it's just rowdy. The query is just rowdy. You don't even understand the one we have just done. It's like you don't get it, you don't. So now, sorry, I ought to put it here. Yes, for this one. This another execution. We use another statement here, delete statement here, delete from employee. So we'll put what we have done here in order for you to be guided. So the next thing we want to do now is okay, now we want to add a new column to this particular table. So we want to put allowance here. We want to put allowance here. How do we go about that? I will come back to my query again, and then I will type my author table, alter table employee, alter table employee, alter table employee, then add. What are we adding? Allowance. Allowance. What is the next thing? Integer. Int. Now remember the way we did this one. Remember how we started this. Int, primary key, name. You remember this is our column header, right? These are our headers. Now I have written many queries here, and then I want to input a new column into my database. I want to write a new query. I want to input a new column into my database. So that means I'm going to do it just the way I did this. So I will come down here and then add allowance, integer, then put my semicolon, hit my enter. Now I've successfully put a new column here. How do I know? Or how do I see? I'll come down here and I will check. Can you see allowance? What next is waiting for me to populate this particular column, and then row 1, row 2, row 3. Are you there? So what am I going to do? What I'm going to do now is that I'll come down to my query, and then I will hit my enter, and then I will write, I will say update employee. Don't forget, we are adding column. Then after adding new column, what is the next thing? Then we need to update. So I will come down to my update. I will select this one. I'll select this, Control C, and then come here, Control V. Now update employee. Now what are we updating? The bonus. So I will delete here, then I will put my bonus here. Sorry, allowance. Put my allowance. Set allowance equals to what? Let's say from 10, allowance equals to, let's give the person, let's say from 10. Is it 10? Can we use 10? Let's use 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Let's use 10. 10 close my quotation. Now if I say where ID equals to 10, it will only do for ID. That is for this particular primary key, this number 10. And the reality is that we don't have number 10 any longer. We have deleted it. So if I execute it, that will be an error. So I will just say where ID equals to 1, and then put my quotation. Then I will just hit my enter key. Now let me check what I have done. So this guy has been given 10. Now I have 2, I have 3, I still have 4. In fact, I have up to 8 guys that needs to be given their own allowance. So how do I go about that? Then I will continue to update my employee. So how do I go about that? I will just say copy. I will copy, Control V, Oh, sorry, I've made a mistake. Oh, onto Z. Okay, thank God. So I'll copy Control C and then Control V. That will go for 2. Then I will increase it. Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. Now, don't forget, I want to update my new column. So I've done 1. I gave that person 10. So this is 2 now. I will give this person 20. And then that will be for the second person. I will give this person 30. This will pass for the third person. I will give this person 40. This will pass for the fifth person. I will give this person 60. This will pass for the sixth. I will give this person 70. And this will pass for the number 8. And then I will give this person 80. And this will pass for number 9. Good. Now, the next I'm going to do is I will begin to input each one after the other. We've done 1. Then set allowance, updates. Set allowance is equal to 10, where it is equal to 1. Set allowance is equal to, oh, sorry, there's a mistake here. Set allowance, this one ought to be 20, where the equal to 30, where the equal to 4. 40, where ID equals to 5. 50, where ID equals to 6. If I don't correct this, we might face another thing, that is error. The action output will give us error. So I've seen the correction before even executing it, the error before executing the task. 2, 1, 2, See, because I'm fast, this one should be 3, 4, this one should be 5, 6, and this one should be 7, 8, and then 8, and then this one should be 9. Okay, so let me try to execute now. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, and then 9. So now let's check what we have done. Then I will come down here again. I'll check. This is my allowance. Have you seen it? Populated everything. So I added a new column and then I populated everything. I can just remove this. I can also remove this. I can remove this. I can also remove this. I can also remove this. Then I can remove this. So now we've been able to populate our column. We gave it a new column. Now, let's see another thing that we can do before we draw the curtain this evening. Now, let me check my table again and see what we can still do on this table. Now, I have 9 rows. Now, let's say that I want to, update this table again such that those with those with above 40, those with above 40 allowance, we should multiply their allowance by 2. And those that are below 40, we will not give them anything. So how do we go about that one? That should be the second to the last. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to use, I want to check what the criteria we can use here. We're going to use okay, this is what we are going to do. It should not be that route. It should not be that route. It should be, we are going to use age for what I'm about to do. And it's going to be age that is greater than 30. The allowance should be multiplied by 2. It's just like a logical statement in Microsoft Excel. So let's see how we can carry out the task. So I will come down here again and I will say enter. And then I will say update allowance. Say Control C. Come down here. Control V. And then update allowance. Set allowance. I will delete this. And then I will delete this. Set allowance. 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 Multiply by 2. Allowance multiply by 2. Where age is greater than 30. So I said update allowance. Remember update and then set. whenever, okay, I said update employee set allowance equals to allowance multiplied by 2, where age is greater than 30. So that means anyone that is above 30, it will multiply the allowance by 2. That's what I'm expecting to see. So let me execute my query. Control plus enter. Okay, it's saying something here. It said truncated incorrect. Are you seeing it? Don't forget action output. It will guide us. If you are into error, it will tell us so that we can correct it. Now let's see what it's saying here. It's saying to us here that error code 1292, truncated incorrect double value quotation. So it's telling us that we are not to use quotation as we are using our where clause in this task I want to execute. So it's guiding me now. So what I'm going to do now is that I will follow his instruction. Then I will come down here. I will delete my quotation. I also delete this quotation. You know, at times SQL will guide you. Now, after executing it, if you do not see, after executing it and you are still seeing the same error, you don't need to be under pressure, or maybe I don't know it, maybe I don't get it. What you just need to do is just calm down, go back to the error code, reinterpret again. So when you do it again, you are still seeing it again. Relax your mind again, still check where is the error coming from. Are you getting me now? So at times when you are writing code, you might face different things. As you are doing it, it will keep guiding you. I've done something whereby I was trying to join like 4 tables together. Imagine joining 4 tables together. So I was seeing error and error. After correcting this, so I brought another one. As it's bringing the instruction, I was correcting it till I corrected everything and I got the result. So at times it happens. So just say Control plus enter. Now I've corrected the error. Now I can come to my table to see what I have just done. I will just do it this way. And then can you see allowance? Can you see those that are above 45, above 30? This guy, multiplication, multiply by 2, also by 2. Which one again? Let's say again. That's all, just 2 people, 2 persons. So it means that what I have just done is just like it's just like logical statements in Microsoft Excel. It's just like logical statements in Microsoft Excel. So lastly, because the time is fast spent already, let's say I want to, let me just use one more thing and then, okay, isn't one more? Okay, let me quickly show you this. Now look at country. Let's say you want to filter. You want to say SQL from the database. I want you to retrieve back to me anyone that their country is Nigeria. Please return them back to me. How do I go about that? Well, you come down here again. You don't forget this. You come down here, you pick your database and the table, Control C. Then I'll come back to my query. I'll paste it here. Control V. Select start from database, then table, where country equals to what? Nigeria. So let's start from Olawale Michael. Olawale, the employee table, where country equals to Nigeria. If I execute it, will not go. I will see error because it's expecting. Until I put my semicolon at the back, still saying error, still putting this thing. Then I need to remove this my semicolon. And then I will hit my enter. Now, when I did that, I got null, 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 and null. What is happening? What is the cause? Well, let's see the query again. I said, so let's start from Olawale employee, where country equals to Nigeria. Now, I did it well. This is the right way to do it. Now, after doing it, after executing my query, I saw no, and there is Nigeria here. What is happening? Well, it might be because of this space, this quotation. So let me try to correct it now and do it well. And let's see again. Can you see now? Now it brought Nigeria. So you will only see the information of those in Nigeria. You see the guy in Ghana, is it Ghana or Benin Republic? The guy is not here. So SQL will retrieve back the information of those in Nigeria. So I can get, with this information, then I can carry out my analysis on this alone. It's like, it's not even like I've just filtered my data, just the way we normally use filter in Power BI in Excel. So I've just filtered my data. I executed the task, passed instruction to my database, and I retrieve this particular information. So at times when you are writing your query, at times you might not see this red sign. It means that it's not critical. Yes, when you don't see this, it means that you are still in line, it's not critical. Now you have to want to now use your knowledge that what happened? I have executed this thing and I'm still seeing hex. I'm not seeing I'm saying that I'm correct. And my action output, my table, I'm saying no, what's going on? Just calm down. Don't just relax your mind. Check again. Then you will know that okay, maybe because I've put too much of space, maybe because where I need to use or I went to use and. Okay, let me use that and use or and see again. Then you get it. Are you getting me now? So at times you might not see that red. You might give me the pass mark. Permit you to use pass mark under our action output. But when you now see your tax, then you might not see any information. And what's going on? So when we corrected the space, we got the information. So lastly, how can I sum my salary and my allowance? How can I sum my salary? How can I sum my salary and then my average salary, even the allowance, even the average allowance? How can we do that? Since we can also do it in Microsoft Excel. Very simple. So I will just come down here. I will pick this one, Control C, and then I will come here and I will paste Control V. And then I'm going to remove my star. So I'm going to put sum. Sum, open my brackets, the salary. Salary, oh, I lose it. Salary, comma, average, let me put space, average salary. close my bracket, comma, and then sum, open bracket, allowance. Okay, let me continue. I will explain. He's not bringing allowance here, I know, but let me continue. I will explain later. Some allowance, and then average. I'm going to say error here, but let me just continue. Okay, from Olawale employee, let me try to just enter here and okay, I said select some salary, some allowance, average allowance from Olawale employee. Control plus enter. Okay, we're even given. So now the reason why I said I might see an error is this because I've written a lot of query, and I noticed that at times when you initiate a column, although I still going to go into it tomorrow, next week or tomorrow, when you initiate a new column, at times I've experienced in such a way that when I wanted to execute that query, as I was pressing the column, trying to input the column is not popping out, but I still followed my route. At the end of the day, I didn't see anything. So, and the next thing I got was that column is not even part of my. Okay, I got that column wasn't part of my table. So I got the stuff. So when this was a new column, this was a new header here, a new column. So I was using that mind that, oh, new column. I hope I won't see that error I used to see then. So fortunately, when I execute my stuff, it brought my results here and my results here. So now, if you look at Microsoft Excel, we can sum salary, we can do average as well. Remember the aspects we looked at when we are doing pivot table. Remember that aspect that we went to look at the count, the distinct, the sum, the average. Good. This is the same thing here. Sum salary, your average salary, the allowance, and the average allowance. So from my table, I got my average salary as well, the total salary, and everything. So is it possible for me to import this to Microsoft Excel? Yes. Is it possible for me to export? Sorry, I'm not importing, I'm exporting. Is it possible for me to export this to Excel? Yes. Is it possible to export my table, my table that I updated? Is it possible to export it to Excel? Yes, very possible. How? We look at that. We are going to look at that in the next class. So I think I will be stopping here for today. I'll be stopping here for today. So tomorrow we will continue from where I have stopped. Remember,
Thank you, sir.
I'm coming, please. Remember, we built this table from the scratch. And this table we built from the scratch, we carried out analysis on this table. So tomorrow, we are not going to build any table from the scratch. It's just for you to have an idea, for you to have the knowledge on how to create a database. So tomorrow, we are going to use a data that you're already familiar with tomorrow. So I've already imported them here because of time. I've imported them already. So we are going to correlate that data on pivot table. That is pivot table. I've already done the visualization. I've done everything. The slides, everything is there. So we will not be looking. We'll be analyzing that pivot table. We will be analyzing that pivot table in Microsoft Excel, and we'll also be analyzing SQL. We will not be checking. We check Excel. We get the answer in Excel. We'll come to SQL. We'll do the same thing. So I want to tell you that SQL is a tool for analysis. So what I get in the result that my Excel is giving me, SQL can also give me the same. And also, I can further my analysis of my SQL. I can further the analysis in Microsoft Excel or on Microsoft Excel. I can further the analysis. So we are going to correlate the results from Microsoft Excel and the SQL. I will be doing that one. Then we'll do SQL. Will not be correlated. So you will see that it's not like we are doing magic. That the same thing I'm doing in Excel, the same result in Excel, I'm also getting it in SQL. Yes, the same thing. You will get the same thing. When you are able to do that successfully, then it shows that you understand SQL and you know what you are doing. The difference is that this one is a statement code. Once you memorize the code, you understand how it works. When you initiate the code, pass the instruction.
This lesson was brought to you by Nikon Education Foundation.
Excel.
We are so excited you've joined us.
So we use
lesson
scripting for countries, for this, for that. We also use filter here as well.
MySQL. Tomorrow we'll continue with MySQL.
So tomorrow I'm preparing your mind.
Remember, this is 7 weeks free data analytics training by Nikon Education Foundation. And we want the best for you. Ensure to do your assignments, submit them, and at the end of the day, you get your certificate. See you tomorrow.